What's up, everybody? Can't get my TV to come on. I wonder if I pulled a cord loose in the back or something. Mess with that later. What's up, Elliot? BMCK. Actually, scoot back so I can get this over. Maybe that drywall screws for the drop ceiling hit a wire. No, all the wiring's right here, so it wouldn't have been anything in there. I haven't had it on probably, I guess, since the last live or so. So I don't usually ever even really use it that much. I've kind of actually thought about taking it down. What's up, Oinker? Todd? I did get some of the new That Bowery Boy stickers in the mail. So I add them to my sticker bucket. I haven't put any stickers up anywhere because I'm debating on what all I'm doing. What's up, Terry Burton? And then some way I found something that I own that's Makita. Hey, Joseph. Vito spring promotion March 1st. That's what I've seen little the promotion like things going around on Facebook and different places, like the tier 1, tier 2 bags and all that, and it all says March 1st. If they're real, they look pretty real. So I'm assuming so. Klein needs a crate. Yeah, they do. One thing that, and it wouldn't be a problem for me, and I didn't really think about it, like the latches on the Modbox 2.0. So here's like a half. So this would never be an issue for me because I don't run stacks. But if you do run a stack, you probably do have to think about that. Like the latches you can leave unlatched, and let me grab a Milwaukee one that's got some latches. I still prefer the Kleins over the latches for me, but again, it just depends on what you do. So like if this was in a stack and you had some other stuff on top of it and it was heavy, so like if it was like the third or fourth one down, you had big screw fasteners, you can undo these and leave that undone and then flip up, some stuff versus these. I don't know if you put a bunch of weight on top of it, like, is it going to pop open? I don't know. Like, so that's something to think about. And I didn't even think about that because I don't run a stack like that. So like if you had like 3 other boxes with some fasteners or whatever on it, and you were wanting to get in this one, and you're able to sometimes, lift them up a little bit and get in there. But with 2 hands, if you got to do this and then lift up some at the same time, I don't know. I don't know if you'd be able to do it or not. I don't really have enough of these to probably, I guess I could maybe stack some stuff on, put some heavy stuff in one of the ones and try it. But something to think about. I didn't really think about it. I think somebody might have commented that on the Modbox 2.0 video. Like I said, for me, I'd rather have the spring latches on the Klein if they hold up well. Like, again, time's only going to tell on that. But I prefer it just for the shutting purposes. Will you be participating? Maybe. It depends on what the bags are. Like, I'm not going to buy a bag. I don't need a backpack. I don't need I don't really need a big bag. Most of the bags that I'd want to try are like the SPLD and stuff like that. And it just depends on what tier those are in. I don't want an MB2B. So if I can get a CP or a CBLD and get a bag that I want, then I'm going to buy a pouch and a meter pouch no matter what. But we'll see on the bags. Because to me, anytime if you can buy, even if you don't want the free bag, now probably not the case on the MB2B, because them little MB bags don't sell very well on Facebook because there's not a lot you can really do with them, and people don't go looking for them. But if you can buy like say maybe you want the CBLD, if that's the case, if you want the CBLD, like if that's the bag, then buy whatever bag allows you to get it that you think most people want to buy. So like if you can buy an MCT blackout and get the CBLD for free, but you really just want a CBLD, then you're better off to do that and then sell your MCT blackout and you'll get your CBLD for, practically almost nothing. Or if you want a bigger bag, even though you don't want the CBLD, it's still a better time to buy it right now because you can sell that CBLD even if it's $50. I mean, you take $50 off your bag basically. So no matter what, it's a good time to buy a bag if you're needing one. But if you want the tier 1 free bag, the best thing to do is just buy a bag that you know people will want to buy. Don't go buy the cheapest tier 1 bag just so you can get that bag for free and then have to try to sell some bag that nobody ever really wants to buy. You need to buy like a popular bag. Selling bags, my head hurts with all the no-shows. Yeah, I've gotten to where I don't sell as much stuff on Facebook Marketplace anymore. I throw stuff on there, and then I don't care if it sells or not. Like people all the time message you asking for half off of it and all that. I'm just like, no, it can just sit here in my garage for all I care. I don't care if it sits on there for 2 years. Is the SBLDT a tier 1 bag? I haven't went to look either. I haven't went to see if the list is out there yet or not. My guess is going to be no, because it's probably like it's usually in the realm of like a $250 or more bag, and I think those are right around like the 220s and $199 or something like that. And Joey thinks he's going to have more than enough storage. Yeah, I'm going to take y'all around tonight and show you what I got done this week. I'm going to go to town tomorrow morning and pick up stuff to make me some stairs. And then, because even if I change later and do something else, I'm going to go ahead and put stairs in there now while I'm working, just because it's getting to be a pain climbing up and down that ladder to get up and out of here. But I got to go look at a job with my buddy tomorrow too. So I'm going to go pick up stuff. We're going to go look at the job, and then he's going to come out here and help me build stairs. And I'm going to pick up, maybe, if I can fit them in my truck, some file cabinets tomorrow that they're not lateral file cabinets. That's my preferred thing, is lateral file cabinets. But Amanda's work has some of the, like, regular file cabinets that are 5 tall that they're just getting rid of. So I'm going to go get them. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but I'll find somewhere because I'm going to have tons of room for that kind of storage. And those work well too, just more than anything, just to keep stuff looking better and also keeps dust off everything. Whatever you put in them, even I'd rather have stuff that I can fit down in those, even if it's bags of like tools with bags and stuff like that, put them in that and shut it just so it doesn't get as much dust. Which hopefully I won't have as much of that stuff up here in this section anymore, because I'm going to pretty much always do my saw cutting and stuff down there if I do anything. And then also, this is sealed off way better than what it was for sure, because I had a ton of air leakage, water leakage around the edges, all kinds of things in here before I did the garage like I did. Appalachian Guitar said he didn't think the list had been released. Not going to do a ramp instead. No, for sure. I'm just gonna do stairs for now. I'm probably just gonna do it 2x12s, and then if I decide I want to do something later, based on I don't want to go crazy doing certain things until I kind of get a feel of how I'm going to use it, because the ramp's going to take up a lot more room for sure. Like to get uh, instead of just steps, I'd almost have to lose a whole wall like to not make it pitched like crazy. I'm not that I had to make it like ADA or anything, but I still wouldn't want it to be like, this. I actually kind of thought about doing instead of that would be doing like little like landings almost instead of steps, but I'm just going to do something right now to get it to where I can not have to climb up and down a ladder to get up and down through there. SBXXL. Yeah, that's a nice looking bag too. Like I said, I love I love the bags with the pouches on the side, whether it's the MB5B or I got my infrared bag in here. I just brought it inside from my truck. And like it's nice to have these on the side. Now the Evo bags would be nice because you can take those off and like actually put meters and stuff in them. But if that bag costs like by the time you buy 2 pouches in a bag and you're double the price of something like this, then to me it's not worth the extra money to get it to be able to take it off for the most part. I'd almost just regularly buy a separate one. I'm gonna wipe y'all off. I can see a bunch of dust all over this thing. Y'all are dirty. You going to decline? Oh, Ray's maintenance is in here. Thinking of getting the Bauer bucket organizer. Got to sell my Cobalt bucket organizer. I haven't seen the Bauer bucket organizer. Uh, those are actually pretty handy for like, especially if you just got jobs where that's a good. And I'm not saying it has to be this kind of job, but I'm just saying that's a good job. Like if I've got dirty tools like hammers and stuff that I just use on demo and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to take my Weehaw electrician hammer in and go do something like totally nasty. I use that for specific type things. But even pliers, and I got some of them that are like, these are tools to do the stuff that I don't want to stick my, really nice ones in. But those buckets are good for that kind of stuff for me, because then you got like a trash can and all that, and you can throw bigger stuff in there. But you can also, I'm not saying it has to be for that, but I'm having a seizure. SBLD blackout or MCT spec ops. The MCT bag I have found is about the biggest bag I want. Like I bought that Tech Pack MC and I've still got it sitting up there, and I'll sell it if I can find somebody that wants to buy it. I mostly bought it to get another SPMC for free for my buddy that and I wanted to have a backpack in case I needed one, but it's still a little bit too big. I mean, it's not too big for a backpack. I just don't use a backpack that often. I'd rather just carry an MCT or, this is about the biggest bag I want right here. If it's bigger than that, I don't want it. I prefer smaller bags in all honesty. Steve's had a decline from what I saw today. Yeah, I'll be going at some point in time. Used the old bucket boss for years before I went veto. Did a fiberglass door the other day. It was $700 for the door alone. Yeah, that door that I got that for free. That's probably because it's got like it's a fiberglass door, and then it's got, I mean, it's pretty nice. I mean, even though it's just a plain old 6-panel door, I'm sure it was a pricey one. Diving deeper into Atlas 46 now. I haven't tried any of their, like, I had a ton of their, I didn't have a ton of them, but I had a lot of like their fastener pouches. I don't know if I kept some. Let me look at my little box over here. I can't remember if I kept some or not. I sold my Saratoga vest, and then I sold a lot of the actual Atlas pouches I had with it. And they're not in there if I got them. I can't remember if I kept a fastener pouch. Those were about the only pouches of theirs that I liked. And because they had like a little flap on the top that you'd stick your hand through and grab them, but it kind of kept stuff. So it's kind of like what the Joey pouches do if you pull the string now. Um, yeah, like this one. I did keep one of them. But I sold, like, I had the drill holster. Um, I had some other stuff. Let's see what I got here. These are the only two I kept. I was probably out of the frame there. I kept this, which just holds a tool, but I always use this for, I could put a pencil in there. You can see like lead marks, and then a tool right there. And you also got a few spots on the side. But this, they had a fastener pouch, and this even had I had a bigger one that you even could put a divider in, which might have actually been this one. I might still have it in there. But I liked it because it had this on it, and you stick your hand in there and get it, but the stuff wouldn't fall out. But this was, I bought this well before like Joey pouches and all that. So my biggest thing with them was, like, this cost so much money. Like, I can't even remember how much this was. And I have to attach it with these every time I take it on and off, and to move it was a lot harder. It's like, to me, I'd rather just grab a Joey pouch and a clip and just be able to move it anywhere I want to. And for the price, even though the Joey pouches are expensive, it was still probably half the price of this. But I love their vest, though. Their vest I love. I just, the money for the pouches, I haven't wanted to spend that on them. I'm not going to load up my Bucket Boss with tools, just very few. Oh, I was going to say, I don't know if Miss Maintenance is watching or not, but I forgot about a QR code. And I don't have it, so if she's watching, she can bring something out here if she wants me to, or I can do it some other time. That Atlas pouch is probably 100. Yeah, it was whenever I bought it. Now, I don't know if that's the equivalent of what they are still today, but whenever I bought this, and I bought and like I said, it came with a divider. It's probably still over there in the drawer if I went digging around, that you can actually stick down in here, because you got to open it like this. And this might not have been the one. Maybe I had one that was smaller or bigger or something. I don't know. But there was a divider that you could stick down in there and basically put two things in here. But then that made it a little bit hard and awkward because it was right in the middle. And sometimes you had to, if the fasteners weren't filled up so high, it was hard to kind of get to them. But that was one of the few pouches of theirs. These two right here is the only two I kept. I had a tape measure pouch. I had a smaller fastener pouch that was like about half the width of that, but I think it was taller. And then I had the drill holster thing, which I never liked it. And then a couple different magnets. And that's the same thing. The magnets were nice, worked great, but man, they were expensive. And then the holstery came out with the holstery Magmaster. And I just started using those because, again, it's just a whole lot easier to me, like, to take and slide that over my webbing than it is to put that through the webbing, come around, Velcro this, Velcro that. And then if I want to move it, like while I'm working, that's a bigger ordeal than just like, oh, move this and put it over here. So I prefer stuff with clips, which I know Atlas has now put on like a rotating clip ordeal thing on theirs now instead of that. So again, I haven't got any of their new stuff as far as pouches. So I'm sure they've gotten better. It's been a long time. I mean, I bought them back when I bought the Saratoga vest, which was before I even started this channel. So I've had those for quite a while. Planning on selling your old Surge M18? No, it just become a garage Surge M18. It's actually down there in my other garage. I keep it down there. I've been using it. That way I don't have to get stuff in and out of my truck. I try my best if I'm just working around here, not to get stuff out of my truck if I don't have to. Like, cause I can get stuff done with a lot of other tools that I've got. It may not be the preferred tool I want to use, but it'll do it. But then that way I don't have to remember to put stuff back. I need to get my garage cleaned up so I can do some live streams, Ray said. Yeah, you need to do a joint live stream with me, Ray. We can just do one together. Here comes the missus. Garage is full of tool bags I don't use. Pay big money for dust collectors. I got a bunch too. I'm gonna explain to you what I'm gonna do here in a minute as far as for my vest, my other stuff.
They said hi to Debbie.
Oh. I'm assuming they might be able to scan this. I'm gonna come around there. So I was gonna mention this, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna do a post too, but so I'm going to, as my business, Morgan's Maintenance, donate to the Relay for Life, and they're trying to reach a certain goal. This certain team is, and it's somebody that's involved with that, that I know. So I'm going to, and I'm going to just put it up there. You guys, I'm not twisting arms, and I don't care if you do it or don't do it or whatever, but I know some of you might be interested in doing it, and whether you want to give $1 or $1 million. If you want to give $1 million, you can send it to me first, and then I'll give it to them. But I'm going to put the QR code up there. This will take you to the team that I'm supporting, that I'm going to give money to. And if you want to do it, I told them that I was going to put this out there, because I know there's several of you out there that, of course, they deal with cancer and all that kind of stuff, that probably might do stuff like that anyways. So I'm going to put the QR code up there. I'm going to come around there so y'all can see it. And you might not even could scan it, this way. I'm not even sure if it's going to work or not. So I'll hold that up there for a little bit. And it'll take you right to whatever it is. So. And like I said, I'll do a post of it later if that didn't work. That Bowery boy said works, and Ray said got it. So again, no arm twisting. I just said that I would donate, and I said I'll make mention of it because some other people that I know might want to, but don't feel like you have to or anything like that. What's up, Ken Alexander? Yeah, I meant to bring that out here. I meant to print one because I figured the printed one, like on paper, would work. I don't know how it works going through screen, through another screen, all that kind of stuff like that. I was gonna say, in case any of y'all, and I don't know if like these mini totes that 3D printed and sent to me by 5 Ghost Shadow fit perfect. Probably can't get them in the 5-drawer cart. So I don't know if this is the same exact size as those mini totes from Lowe's that I never could find. And it's on a delay, so I doubt I can see. But this drawer right here on the 5-drawer cart, which is not the biggest one on the bottom, but the next one, it's like perfect. Like barely shuts, but just shuts. So if you bought some mini totes and you've got a 5-drawer cart from Harbor Freight, you might want to try that out. That's right, you got housework to do. You get in there and do it. Curious about my TV, which I'd actually been debating on taking it down anyways, because like I said, I don't really use it. I just put pictures up there. But I don't know. Maybe it might be the remote's not working, and I don't even know where the buttons are on it to turn it on, like without the remote. I'll have to look around on the back and see. there's a huge delay between what I'm seeing on my screen and me being live. So that's why I kind of not talking as much, because I'm looking at this thinking I need to wait. I need to go to all comments too. Does he sell those? I'm addicted to tiny things. I don't think he said he just got into 3D printing, and I don't. He wasn't as of when he sent them to me. I don't know if he's going to later or not. It's 5 Ghost Shadow. If you end up seeing him in here, that's his username. At least you don't have to do wallpaper. Is it Vizio? Sony. It's a Sony. I got it for free from somebody. I went over and was helping them move, and they had TVs that they had to get rid of. And he's like, "You want one of these?" I was like, "Not really." And I was like, "But I guess I'll take one. I'll put it up in my garage." I said, "That way, if I want to watch a YouTube video or something while I'm out there, I can put it on there." But I honestly have, other than putting pictures up there, I think that's all I will need something like if I do the live giveaways and stuff, I guess. Like I use that screen to, I guess I could do that maybe on my tablet or something. I don't know. But actually, I'm going to be putting my video camera system up before too long, and I'll have to plug it into a monitor. And I kind of was planning on using that TV, so I don't know. We'll see. I probably got another one out in my other building if I go look. I'll swap it if I have to. TV places send Joey a TV. Yeah, I need like one of them 85 inches or something or other, and or cover from one side to the other, and then that way I can make my whole background whenever I want to. Is the tool vest compatible with other brands of tool belts? So it's got that's one thing I really like about this one, is that it does have a spot for a belt. Because again, my other Atlas one, but it's a different style belt though than my Atlas, vest that I use for service work. That's more for, not intended to have a bunch of stuff hanging on it. It's kind of an all-in-one thing. So this has a belt loop all the way around that you could add to it. Let me see what the dimensions are. I guarantee you, whenever we go, like if I take y'all and open that door, I bet I've got 30 tape measures down there. Probably not a one up here. I think you could fit it's real close on a 2-inch belt being tight, and I don't know if I got a 2-inch belt in here somewhere. I don't know if I do or not. I don't think I do. I mean, I do, but I don't think it's easy for me to get to. I've got them in a container. I'd have to go find them. I'd say a 2-inch would probably go, because this should have a little bit of stretch, the way that it's that fabric. 1.75 for sure would. 2-inch would be. I wouldn't say 2-inch. I think you could get by with like 1 3/4 inches. I wouldn't plan for a 2. I think it'd be tight. Like if it, yeah, I'd say 1 3/4 inches is the biggest that you're gonna get. What's up, Mike? Is making stuff. Those Craftsman sawhorses holding up that ply. Yeah, the ones that I've got in there that I was using whenever I was putting up the sheathing, those are just 2 of those Craftsman or Stanley, whichever ones I've got down there. Because I've got 2 sets of Craftsmans. I think those might be Craftsman, because I bought 2 sets of Craftsman. I've got a set of Stanley that are in my truck. I found them on sale multiple times for like either $15 a piece or something like that. And anytime I've seen them like that, I go ahead and buy them. you tried your hand at the Oakley or Meta glasses? No, I haven't. Because I can't. I'm blind without my glasses, so I'd have to get like a. I don't know if they even make them in prescription or not or whatever. So I'd have to wear my glasses with those over top of them, type of thing. I haven't even really looked at them before. I don't know if they're just clear with the things on it or not. It would be nice because it would make it not so like weird, like in spaces. Because most of the time, there's times where I don't film stuff just because there's a lot of people around. And even with it being a public space and technically you'd be allowed to record, it's just like the way I have to wear my DJI on my hat with my hat on backwards and it's just sticking out there. It's like, it's just something where it's going to weird some people out. And I'm just like, I'm not doing it. So you could do that in those situations and, it wouldn't seem so weird. Hoping it's compatible with my Diamondback tool belt. I bet that's probably a Diamondback one, but I don't know. I don't have a Diamondback belt. I'll do a video about the cart. I haven't really, this thing's just got random stuff in the drawers right now. I still haven't messed with like getting it set up. I've given up on trying to, like, until I get all the sections done. I'm not even like, even whenever I show you in here in a minute, like that's just stuff I've thrown in there to get out of my way so I can go to the next thing in here just to make myself have a little bit more room. But you'll get an idea the way that is now, what the overall thing's going to be now, I think. Ray so famous it wouldn't be a mystery, but still enjoyable. I wear horn rim glasses, so I thought about the Meta ones. They look like the ones I wear normally anyways. Yeah, I'm assuming that you could get like prescription lenses put in those or something. That would give you a better, like, because that's like even wearing my camera on my head. I have to tilt it kind of down, but there's a lot of times where I hit it on stuff and it's just, you never really, like, I have no idea what it's looking at, and I could film the whole entire day and then get home and like watch it back and be like, oh, that stupid camera was out of whack, for the really important stuff. And you can't just be like, it's not like a movie set or something where you just go and be like, oh, well, I'll fix this again. It's like you already fixed it. So it would be nice to know that whatever my eyes are looking at, that's what I'm actually filming. Like, that'd be nice to know that, like, with for sure, to be for sure about that. My buddy has the Meta in prescription. I got one of the GoPros, tried to wear it, and I don't do nothing but get in the way. I just throw it on a tripod now. Yeah, I have found that I've got mine in here. I'll show you how I kind of set mine up. This is about the only way I can do it, and I've had good results most of the time and not lose too much footage. And then I swap it back and forth, which I've got a DJI. But so the nice thing about the DJI or mine, which you can probably do the same thing with the GoPro, a newer one. Let me find I think it's in here. So I've got this that I put on a tripod, like this small one here. So like in the video where I was doing the underneath the sink, I took it off my head once I got so far into it and just put it on that and then started just putting it on me. And then that way I didn't have to worry about probably isn't filming anything that I want to. But then I took this from my GoPro. It's like a little, I think it's really meant for like to slide onto a backpack strap or something like that. But I basically put it on a hat. If I put it on my hat now, then it's going to, you won't be able to hear me because I'm losing the mic. I put it on this and then wear my hat backwards. But you have to have that tilted down some, so it's kind of like here. But at least if it's on my head, it turns with my head. Like, so if I look one left or right or whatever, it kind of goes with it. And that's been so far, that's worked out better. I bought a hat a long time ago that had a really short bill on it. Like it was only like about this long of a bill. And then this mounted there, and it give you the same result, but it was a goobery looking hat too. So this makes it work out to where I can just swap it over to the tripod and then turn my hat back around. I do love the DJI camera way better than the GoPro that I had, but I had an older GoPro too. But the battery life is crazy better. The lighting's good. That's like that ceiling grid video. Like I have zero lights. I had no lights in there, and it was, I mean, it was daylight, so you had some coming in the window, but it was fairly dark in there, and you couldn't really see it. What's up, Rod W? I got one of those rinky-dink tripods with the tiny flex legs. Yeah, that's what I've got there. I think it's one of these here. And then mostly I've just got that because it fits in this MB bag. Good. MB3 in action. Yeah, that's all. I don't care for these for tools just because there's no like organization. I could see if you used it for, I mean, it's a meter bag. It's made for diagnostic equipment. Like I could definitely see HVAC people putting all their probes and stuff like that in them, keep them separate. But I'm not a cinematographer. Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like I'm not gonna go crazy making a bunch of like trying to learn a bunch of editing software, which 90% of my videos are like just tool reviews. We're looking at a tool. Like to me, it's here's what the tool does, here's what it is. There's no, it doesn't need to be a like a cinematic quality movie. I'm doing pretty good, Rod W. How about you? He's waiting on some glasses to come. You can just say Rod. Yeah, that was the like back whenever I first started filming myself working. That was the hardest thing for like I started out. And I still got them. Like I've got a chest mount. I tried that, and then if you wear a chest mount, if you're like actually like moving and working type of thing, you work overhead like this, whether it's like lighting or whatever you're doing, like it's not going to see it because it's not moving with your head. And then I can't remember, I tried something else. I might have got one and put on my shoulder or something like that. And then I bought the hat thing, wore it some, and it still got, again, the biggest thing is you just never know what it's filming. You hope it's in the right position, but you don't really know. Because it's like the whole time I was doing that ceiling, every time I'd stick my head up there, I'd hit the camera on one of those trusses, and then if you don't pay attention and notice it got hit, for all you know, it got hit straight back, and then the whole rest of your footage is going to be staring at a ceiling, and then that whole video is just like, now that's garbage, just filmed all day for nothing. I appreciate that, Rod. Pennsylvania, the storm spared us this time. Our weather's finally supposed to be it's supposed to be pretty nice. It got Monday and Tuesday were super cold. Yesterday and today like 50s, which is I'm fine with that. And then it hadn't been sunny though, so it's still kind of like a little bit chilly with the wind. But this weekend's supposed to warm up pretty good. I'm hoping we're getting close to the end of all the different winters. What is there? There's like blackberry winter, strawberry winter, linen breeches winter. There's all those, I don't know when they quit, but I know spring's like sometime in March. So we're not too far. But I'll go ahead and take, so that in case people got to get off here early, I'll show you what I got done on the garage and then what my next step is. So in case you haven't watched the garage over the garage stuff, like this building here is, my original carport garage deal. And then I added a garage over a garage, and most people didn't understand what I was doing whenever I added the sides on. And I mostly added these sides on for the pitch of my roof, and it was easier to work away from my building than it was to try to hug this building. And it also gave my new section a little bit bigger size. And I can't zoom in and out. I think I can zoom in on a live, but I can't zoom out any further. So this side over here is a higher elevation than where I'm at right now. I had to make a step, and that's because this side over here, it had a curb built up because this was a carport, and this whole building is on a slope going like this, and they poured this concrete really unlevel so that the water would drain off, because again, it wasn't meant to be a building. It was meant to be a like carport, park 2 cars on it. It was just a roof at one time. And because I went further up the hill going that way, had I stayed at this elevation, because I thought about staying at this elevation and cutting out that curb, but then I would have had to do something crazy on that wall over there to stop water and everything from getting into my building, because I'm going further up the hill. I'd had to dig deep. I'd had to dig a bunch more over there. So again, for only reason why I really even have these is because I wanted my roof to be a certain pitch, and it gives me this. So I got the sides all done. I got that drop ceiling in. I got my lights hooked up. These are the same lights. And again, I will probably eventually get some flat panel LEDs for free whenever I do some demo work. So that's why I didn't buy any. And I bought a 10-pack of these. I got 6 of them in here, 2 of them here, and then I'll put 2 in that other side. And those were $100 for 10 lights. So can't beat that for $100. This is a big mess in here. So mostly I've just been working out here. So nothing really new out here. So I'm gonna go get the stuff to do the steps from here to here tomorrow, so I don't have to do the ladder deal anymore. But let me get down here. You might can see more. So this door, got this from my door guy. I told him if he found a good deal on a clearance door for me to make sure and get it. So that's a fiberglass door. Somebody hit it with a fork down here, so I have to Bondo that up. So I went around, I finished the sheathing. That's the last live that I had. I was putting up that wall, and then come back, did the bottoms with the pieces because I had 7-foot pieces. And then this right here is basically my offcuts. So if I've got an offcut, I just rip pieces out of these to kind of cover up the gap between the two. And then if I need to get in here later, I can take this off. I went ahead and nailed them up. I was going to screw them up, but they pull off real easy with like a pry bar, and I just shot them on with brad nails. Now, the one thing that I did was, it's kind of a oopsie, didn't think about it. Because again, I'm just doing this based on whatever I think whenever I'm doing it. I don't have a big overall plan. So I put these on with screws mostly because it's easier with one person, but also I was thinking, well, one of these days I might want to take it down and add something. But you know where I messed up with that? Anybody smart enough to catch it? Because originally I was gonna put this extra piece at the top and put this down to the floor. But now that I've got my drop ceiling in there, I can't really take these panels off if I wanted to anyways, without it being a big ordeal. So, but I'm cool with that. I can fish anything up down these wires. But this right here this is what I'm going to be doing. Same thing in here. And then that way all my electrical and stuff will be run all the way around the perimeter. And then I can also get back into it later. So the next step, so none of this stuff is necessarily staying in here. This is just in here because it's in my way for my next step. So went ahead and built 3 shelves, and then they're just 5/8. This is extra roof sheathing I had left over. And then again, I just ripped down some of this stuff and put on the face. So next step, yeah, then I had to fill in concrete right there to get up to that level because that curb only came up to right there. Next step is I'm getting rid of this. This is where my one metal cabinet was. That's sitting in here now. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that yet. I actually kind of thought about I was going to take those cabinets and put them right here. So you're just seeing those through this window, which I'll talk about this in a minute, what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get rid of this window, block that in. But I was originally going to block it in like 100% and nail stuff off. But then I got to thinking, I kind of like the fact that this is in the middle. I'm going to make a panel that I can take in and out because that gives me access to in here halfway, which is where I, got my mini split lines and all that kind of stuff. And I can also run other stuff down through there. That basically that little gap between my building. So that'd give me, in case I want to get back in there and reach something or, do whatever, I can kind of get inside of some of those stud bays, at least like that. So that's the next step. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to move over and get rid of this, and basically do the same thing as what I got here going over into that other section. And over there, I won't have a step. I've got that will be poured because again, I'm going downhill on the slope this way. So I was fine over there at the grade that I was at. I didn't have to do anything like this. So in here, I think I'm going to put a shelf across here that sticks out basically, to here, and put my Vito bags on that shelf, and then hang all my vest and pouches, all my vest and pouches that aren't in my truck that I kind of swap back and forth below that. I think that's what I'm going to do in there, because I don't want to really crowd that up too bad, because this is kind of more of a hallway walkway to that. So I'm going to try to just store things basically from this point that way and just treat this kind of like a hallway, because over there in the other one, again, it's probably hard for y'all to see it all. Let me get back down here. It's always zoomed in like too far on these lives. So that over on the other side, I'll be able to have shelves like that on that wall, also on this wall, since there's not a door and there's also not a window. So that whole side over there is going to be like solid shelves on 3 walls, like the 2 side walls and 1 side wall. And then that way I'll have a walkway. So that side over there is going to be more of my storage. This one's more like a hallway that so happens to have some storage. And then it's got Miss Maintenance's window that she just had to have that I didn't want, but she won on that one. I didn't get the wallpaper. But that's pretty much that, in case somebody was in here and they didn't want to wait around till later. Thought of making a ramp for that doorway. No, it's not that right there is not a big deal for me. Like the other one, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to build steps, but I might end up later on doing something different. But that's what I'm going to do for now. I'm just tired of going back and forth, going down that ladder, because I'm doing all my cutting and stuff down there. Would you guys put smart locks on your home? I've got keypads. I don't have anything that's like connected to the internet or anything like that. I actually prefer. Now it depends on what your use is. Like how you like if you want multiple codes in it, then like this Elamake that I put on, I made a video for a long time ago. That's what's been on my garage since that video, and it's a mechanical lock. I absolutely love it. Like I've had no problems with it. I don't have to put any batteries in it. It works perfect every single time. But keypad locks are good too. And then usually you can put like 20 codes or more in those. So if you want to actually do a bunch of codes, then that's worth getting. But I don't have any of none of mine are like hooked up to Wi-Fi or anything like that. Should carry a laser pointer. Appreciate it, Elliot. Is Amanda gonna have her side free of your stuff? Most of the stuff that's in, yeah, I should be able to bring everything that I've got back there. Because all I've got back there, I've got some scaffolding, like rolling scaffolding, not like bricklayer scaffolding or anything like that, like the metal tech, like with the wheels, like what was in the IBS video with that joystick and controller. I've got that same kind of stuff. And then I got multiple ladders back there. Those will be able to come up here, no problem. I'm trying to think of what else I got back there. I don't have a ton of stuff. It's just, it's big stuff. So, but I should be able to get everything out of there. We'll see you, Appalachian. Kind of a mud room. You get your steps in with the ladder. How big is your shop where you're sitting right now? So this original area is like a 20 by 20. And now I've got a 30 by 40 outside. So the outside of my building is 30 by 40. I've got this 20 by 20. Those are a little less than 5 foot wide. It's basically 5 foot minus a 2 by 4 width by 20. And then the new one is 16 by 30 is what that one down there is. So it's really actually overall, it's actually bigger than 30 by 40. I guess it's more like 35 by 40 or something like that. No, 30 by 40. The 30's this way. Yeah, that's right. 30 and then 40 this way. But I've got 20 here, 16 there, but I've got, 8-inch block walls out there, and then I've got a space in between that's less space. So that one down there is a little, it doesn't, the 16 and the 20 doesn't add up to the 40, but it's because I got wall thicknesses and stuff in there. I like mechanical keypads personally. Yeah, ever since I've had that one, like I actually went to go get another one of those because I was going to put a keypad on that one facing this way, but I decided I'm just going to put this doorknob. If somebody gets in there and they want to come up in here, they're going to force their way up in here anyways. But by then, I'll already know they're here and they'll be dead. So, what's up, Ryan? What kind of floor space you have in there with all the stuff in the way? In here, or I don't know which one. Let's see. Actual open floor space, not benches or shelves. So floor space in here, I've got, I have to go probably grab a tape measure from down there. I've been packing my tape measures all down there like crazy. I know I had one of them. I put that in my truck. Let me grab a tape. Actually, I got a laser distance measure, but so from that shelf over to this, from that shelf to my workbench, I've got 15.5 feet. And then it should be 20 minus about 2. This should be 16, so it's probably close to 16 by 16. Yeah, it's actually a little more than 16 on this, so almost 17. So like 15 and a half by 17 if once I get all the stuff out of here, like between shelves. 'Cause I've got 18 inches out is the thickest shelves I have over there. These are roughly 20. And then this workbench is, I don't remember what I made it, like 36, maybe 32. The top, whatever I made it, I don't remember. 30 and a half. But the biggest thing for this being open in the middle for me is just to make it easier for me to get stuff to the doors. And again, I'm gonna have my job site table saw that I'll actually use for cutting, like at home. Like my DeWalt one stays in here, but that's because it just goes back and forth to my truck. But it's gonna be down there. I'm gonna wheel it out onto the apron that I put on down there and do all my cutting of that kind of stuff down there. And I'll probably move my I don't know. I'll probably leave my tracks up here. I don't know. I may end up moving them down there. But I also take them with me sometimes, but it's pretty rare. I don't usually take my track saw to work with me very often. I had too much Taco Bell and I did a FERT. You could power, yeah, and I'm probably going to park this cart where that window area is and then roll it out. So I'll go ahead and, this is what I'm debating anyways. I don't know. It's what I'm going to do yet. Cause I may not put that file cabinet back there because if I want to access that, I'd have to move that file cabinet every time. And I don't know that I really want to do that. So this, if I fold down the, if I fold this down, it'll go like just roll back in there. And then I'm going to drop this shelf some because I've got a whole nother shelf that was up here, but that's a little bit too close to, and this might not be in the frame. Let me check real fast. Yeah, y'all aren't. So this shelf, I'm probably going to drop a little bit because I got a little bit of room and I'll just move stuff around and figure out whatever the height is for some stuff that'll fit there. I've got a whole nother shelf that of one of these that I took out that was right here because that's too close to this air coming out. But if I drop this some, I can probably put another one, even if I just put a row of whatever, because I've already got it sitting in there. It's a matter of dropping it in there. And then I might go ahead and take and put those same, wherever that is, over and fill in a couple shelves above it because I can easily take those out if I need to get in there because they're just going to be screwed into, underneath into those. It's just a matter of taking 2 or 3 screws out and pulling the shelf out. So I don't know for sure though. I'm not making any heavy duty plans on any of that because it's all going to change based on till I get the whole space kind of available to me to decide what I want to do 100%. I built the shelves in there that are in there because that's where my framing is on this wall, that the other side of this wall. All the framing on those it's run like this, horizontal, because I screwed 2x onto the metal poles of this existing building. Color me a little jealous. Hoping to get a 16x16. Yeah, the main reason why, like, I could have got by with what I've got right here. It's starting to get a little bit crowded, more so because of tool reviewing. and just getting stuff and stuff. But I wanted a space basically to park my enclosed trailer so it's not just sitting outside all the time. So originally I was just going to add on to this. Now I needed a new roof on this because like I said, it was an old carport building. You can kind of see over here, there's little spots uh, where water was getting in, the old metal on the outside coming in from the roof and all that kind of stuff. There's spots on this other side that was that way too. So I was having some issues with water getting in. Not like crazy, but it's enough that it's, over time, you don't want that happening. So I needed a new roof anyways, and then Miss Maintenance didn't like this building looking like it did. So I had decided I was just going to cover this building, like go over it, and then add me kind of almost like a, not necessarily a lean-to because it'd be the same roof, but I was just going to park my trailer underneath of it and just leave that side open. Basically just add a extra roof and stuff onto the new roof and stuff that I was going to put on this building. And then that just turned into, while I'm doing it, might as well do it. Bought an M18 oscillating multi-tool for 50% off. Had the DeWalt one, but couldn't pass up. Man, my DeWalt one just doesn't seem like it's cutting the same as what it used to. I ended up having to go get this stuff right here, this LP siding, like it's hard to cut with the oscillating tool blade. But I had to go out yesterday and get my M12 one out of my truck because that DeWalt 20 volt one wasn't doing it. I saw that they had the impact and hammer drill. I need a new hammer drill, like just a regular hammer drill. I saw the impact hammer drill and like 3 batteries was $359, but I really don't want the impact. Like I would never use it. I need to get a new hammer drill though. Mine's kind of messing up on me. It's like the clutch or something. If you had Diablo carbide blades, I know. I was hoping I was going to catch all them clearance deals they was putting them on, but mine didn't have any. But even just getting that sealed off with the roof sealed off and that insulation up top now, because that's why I had that blue foam board there for the last so many weeks, because ever since I cut that hole, all my, because my soffit vents to the roof and this is wide open, basically. It was cold in here, but now it's keeping the temperature with that open because everything else is sealed off. And I'm still debating on whether or not, because if I do that shelf in there and put my bags on it and then put my vest and all that kind of stuff in there, I don't really need a door on there. I was just going to put a door on there just for looks in case I wanted to shut it for looks and stuff like that. But if I've got stuff in the background in there that looks good, I may not put a door. But I was going to put a barn door, like sliding barn door. I've got the framing's right above that door. I got like a 2x10 just in case I decide to do that. I can put a track up there and do all that, but I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Probably another one of those where I'm going to ask my door buddy to keep an eye out for a slab door that's whatever that size is. If I get one day for free, then yeah, I'll do it. And if not, oh well. Because that's pretty much the whole thing with me and stuff on the inside of my garage. Like I don't buy it. Like it's like there's very few things that I buy. Like sometimes you got to go buy some stuff because you got to do it to get it to a point. But like finishes and shelves and all that stuff, like all my shelves were built out of 2x4s and leftover plywood. Those shelves, the metal shelves behind you guys, were Bed Bath and Beyond shelves, and I wish now I could have had enough of them to do my garage and 15 other garages, and I recycled so many of those because I didn't have anywhere to put them, but I wish I'd have got more of them now. I could have done the whole inside of in there, and because they're really good shelves. You got 2 packs of the blades for $7. Yeah, mine did, I don't even remember honestly seeing the full price ones out at mine, like in the kits or whatever. But I kept going in and looking and walking around seeing if I could find them somewhere, and I never could find them at mine. I was wanting to catch them. I think I'm down 35 pounds now. So what did I start? I started like this first end of the first week of January. So I think I'm down 35 pounds. Got back into my spider shirt. Anyways, I'm pretty happy about that. It's one of my favorite shirts. Still a little tight, but it still fits. Yeah, today I went to a doctor's office, put together 3 shelving units, hung 2 shelves on brackets on the wall that they had some up and they were bowing real bad because they didn't have enough brackets. So I did that, and then I put together 3 rolling carts that they had. Let's see what else I do. Ran a new receptacle to a spot in the hallway where they were putting a weigh station scale, like to weigh people. They needed it in a specific spot, and they didn't have a receptacle there, so I had to get up and run one from. Actually, what I ended up doing, because I was going to run one from the attic and just come down on the wall, but I already know because I've figured it out over the times I've worked there. They've got like blocking in the wall in a couple spots. So it's not very easy to do that by yourself sometimes, to go to drill through all that. And you really almost need somebody up in the attic and a bunch of stuff. So they had a receptacle on the other side of the wall, and I talked them into putting it in that same stud bay. So then I was able to that's where I used these. I don't have the other end of the box, but they sell the metal boxes with these where the little ears come out and then you suck at the drywall. So it's like a, new work or old work box of plastic, same kind of ears and stuff. But you can put MC cable, you go into these, you got knockouts and all that kind of stuff. So I basically, I put in a quad outlet's what I end up doing because you can't really fit your hand in there if you only do one of them. So I always tell them I can do that, but I'm going to put in a quad outlet. So I cut out for 2 of them. That way I can stick my hand in there and get to the knockout on the other box and then fish wire into it and then come out of that. So that's what I did. And there was some other stuff, fixing some cabinet doors and stuff like that. But I was at that doctor's office all day. I went there to hang up 2 shelves. Every time I go there, there's always like, you go there for one thing and they have a bunch. And I wish they'd always know. I hung up some pictures and all kinds of stuff, which most of the time it's all stuff that I've always got the stuff on my truck. So it ain't a big deal. It's more so the time factor if I've scheduled something else later that day. But it's always, you go there I went there today to hang 2 shelves and I ended up doing I was there started at 9. I was there till 2:30 doing stuff, just random stuff. Leviathan has cheater quads that surface mount. Ray sent me an email. Or he sent somebody an email. Maybe it's me. I've got my do not disturb on right now. So, yeah, I'd like to. I wish they had something that was more like the plastic, because you've got all these extra little ears that you got to cut out for. You got the little tabs, which again, I took these off because I took 2 of them. Take the sides off, put them together. It makes a double box, 2-gang box. But you got the little ears that stick out at the top and the bottom. There's screws and stuff, and then also if you don't cut these fairly tight, there's really not very much to catch. And if the way depends on what the drywall is, like what kind of shape it's in, sometimes it's like wants to pull out on you. So it's a little iffy every time you cut that hole. You're like, I hope these boxes work out for me. Because I had one where the drywall messed up on me, and I ended up having to go in there. And what I did was I took strips of wood, almost like you're doing a drywall patch, and put them off to the side and screwed some drywall screws in to hold it, and then put that box in and sandwiched it with that, and it ended up working out for me. Closest Home Depot to me is an hour away. I was there today and did a walkthrough and didn't find anything to buy. Yeah, my Home Depots kind of went down on which they started. Somebody mentioned it in here, I think. Uh, I used to have 2 clearance spots at my Home Depot. Now they've got down to 1, but they have started putting yellow tags on stuff, kind of like what Lowe's does throughout the store. So some of it's throughout the store now. So now you got to walk around the whole store to kind of look around and see if you see anything. Where used to you just had to go to 2 spots. They do make you U-shaped edges for drywall to give you something to mount to. Yeah, I've never been a fan of the I don't even know what the specific name for them is. I don't know if my electric box is in here. Even if it is, I don't think I got them. You know, the little metal tabs that you slide in and then wrap it around the inside of your box and gives you the 2 ears. I don't really like those. I mean, they work, but I don't like them. These I have found I like better than those. But the other downside to that is those are like small. Like you're not going to fit like a. By the time you put a MC cable in, unless you're able to poke it in the back, and even then, it's kind of iffy. Like you're not going to fit a GFCI or something like in one of those. You're going to have a bigger box. F clamps. Yeah, that's the name. I'm not a big fan of those. Like I said, they work. It's not like it's not that I'm not a fan because they don't work. They work. I just don't like them. Like I don't like the way that sometimes the little tabs end up coming back in towards the inside of the box if you don't get them just right. And battleships, yeah, I've heard them called that too. Yeah, the plastic cut in boxes, like that's the ticket to me. Like those, I mean, if you're running Romex and stuff, like in a house, I mean, they all work good. Like I've never had any problems with any of those. The way the ears work on those, and then the hole doesn't have to have a lot of like extra little weird cutouts on it, like what those metal boxes do. Like it's just a square cut, like you're done. Which I've got a. Let me see if I got a metal. I don't know if I got one in here or not. Which I've saved enough of those little side pieces that I can make myself, because those boxes are $10 a piece that have those tabs on them now. They used to be like $4 or $5, and now they're like they were $11 a piece for one box like this. I don't know if I got a individual one, but I've been saving all these extra tabs I take off, because then I should be able to build myself my own boxes out of these. Yeah, I don't have one, but I've got a Southwire has a. I think it's in this box here. I don't like this as much for my other ones, but like this has the actual, like this is for a residential, like mostly, and then this is for specifically those boxes. You can take this off, and it's got those cutouts for the little pieces that are on the top and the bottom. It doesn't have like the center things on those, because this is more so for if you're going to use the F clamps or whatever. But you know how all those metal boxes got those little things that stick out and catch. So this kind of has it built into it. That one's ME. I thought it was Southwire, so it's ME. Ryan's floor tile in my laundry room for the first time. You guys find the pre-mixed grout worth the extra money, or should I just mix it myself? So if you do the pre-mixed grout, you've got to be on it. Like I'm talking about, you don't get it cleaned off your floor because it's like epoxy grout. Most of the time that's what it is if it's pre-mixed. Uh, it's hard to get off if you don't get it off. I prefer getting the regular grout and then don't use water, but buy like the grout shield or whatever, Map Eyes or however you say that, Mappy Eye. They got a version of it too. I don't remember what the name of theirs is. And use it as my water, and that gives you kind of the same stain and seal effect of the epoxy, but it's way easier to deal with. If you don't get the pre-mix stuff up, you better work in like a 3x3 area, maybe 6x6 if you move a little faster. I'm still impressed about the rashing action to get the sealing grid to the correct height. Yeah, it's a little trick I picked up from my buddy. It's nice. There's a metal pop-in that has wings, but nowhere near as good as the blue plastic pop-in boxes. Yeah, this is the only metal one I've seen that has wings. Is this? I said these were on the side of. Um, I had two of them. I don't know what I did with that other one. Oh no, I took two off. These were on individual boxes, but I had to take two sides off so I could put two boxes together and make a quad box. But like I said, they're good because they're the only thing I've found, but they're not great. Yeah, I much prefer all these boxes. The way these work is phenomenal. I mean, they grab hard, work good. The biggest thing to me is it's just a square cut. Like it's real easy to cut that out, shove it in. That one you got 15 things that you got to stick it in. Oh, I need to notch a little bit more here. And yeah, Pie Guy, they're supposed to start March 1st, supposedly. Oh, that's my wall plate. So let's look that out here. I could have swore I had a small box in there that I was going to be able to. Yeah, like I said, I've got a bunch of them little wings where I've been making quad boxes. I've done that I think I've done that like 5 times at that doctor's office now. They wanted a receptacle, and I said, well, if it's on the other side of the wall, if you can put it where there's one on the other side of the wall where there's a plug, it's a whole lot cheaper than me going up in that attic and drilling through blocking twice and all that kind of stuff on really tall walls. Mm-mm. Yeah, I worked here all day, whatever day I did that ceiling grid, and then I finished up the rest of it the next afternoon whenever I got home. But it was cold. Whatever day it was cold, Monday or Tuesday, whatever day I did the ceiling grid video, I worked here all day. And then I got to go tomorrow and look. I got like 4 or 5 things that are in the mix, just waiting to get started on them. Yeah, the CBLD. If that's the tier 1 bag, I don't know that I would want it. I mean, to me, it's the only thing I like about it, maybe over some of the ones that are already out there, is that little extra. Um, looks like it's got like a accordion type opening, so that maybe you can get in it a little bit easier than maybe some of, like I say, a TPLD or something like that, where you got the flap and all your tools are in there. It looks like it's got a little more room to stretch out and open and get to some of the stuff maybe that's tucked in the front. Yo, Jordan, I'm having an issue where I have a lot of tools and pack out cases I don't use, totes and case from tools. I got to get rid of this somehow. Yeah, I've got the same thing. I've got, so behind this workbench, I've got a slot, and I made it to fit my Tough Built workbenches at first, and then I didn't like getting them in and out of there. So that's why I ended up putting them over there. But I've got like Milwaukee cases and all kinds of stuff tucked in behind this workbench. And then I just found a Metabo case behind that the other day that I got with my triple hammer, or it was either with my triple hammer or with the stapler. I can't remember which one it came with, but I've got a bunch of them. I know I'm never going to use them, but for some reason you can't make yourself throw them away. You making stairs to go directly to the lower part? Probably directly to the lower part, because the back wall is probably something I'll use less than this wall. I'll probably put a workbench and stuff on this wall. And then I'm also going to, I think I'm either, again, it depends on what I end up doing long term. I'm either going to leave it open under the stairs, and I'm going to build like little platforms, almost like these shelves over here. That way I can put like, I've got tons of stuff that's like 4 foot, like a RAM board, Tyvek type paper stuff, like all kinds of stuff like that. Or even have a whole, I might even cut down scrap pieces to whatever length those are of lumber, just to go ahead and cut it to a certain length whenever if it's 2 or 3 inches longer, just go ahead and cut that off before I put it in there. Or long term, I might make myself like drawers that slide out from under the stairs or something too. But I'm talking way in the future on a rainy day and I've got a bunch of scrap lumber laying around. Because again, I don't do any of that. Only reason why I'm gonna go buy some to build the stairs temporarily or do whatever, because I don't have a bunch of 2x12s or anything here. But all the kind of like little extra intricacies and all that kind of stuff like that, I usually try not to spend any money on doing that. Tuning in from New Orleans. Is it New Orleans? New Orleans? New Orleans? Of course, that's going to be hard for you to tell us because you're typing and I'm talking, but just get rid of blow mode cases. Yeah, the only one that I've got, so I'll show y'all. Let me see. I'll move over here. I keep my air snake in there because it's a pretty big case and it fits in there. So on both sides, I've got basically a channel that runs underneath my whole workbench. Plus it makes it so I can put cords and stuff back in there, drill holes in my top. So I got my air snake, which is a big case. But then I got pack out inserts for, I want to say, the 1/2-inch impact sockets. I can see a Bosch laser case and 4 or 5 Milwaukee cases, all tucked way back down in there. I said my Tough Built things actually fit in there. This side wasn't that hard to get out, but the other side over there was a little bit of a pain. But I planned on putting these in there. But that was before I had this, before I built any of this. But this will fit in here. Spider webs. if I'm hitting some other cases, but and I've got the same, like it's just like this on the other side, and then I've got the middle open where I've got my pack out crate, so I can kind of get in there to that area without. Oh, it's drilled shaking y'all to death. I can get into that area back through there too if I wanted to. Elevator. I'll do the elevator once I do the garage, over the garage, over the garage, and I've got an upstairs garage and a downstairs garage. I put in the elevator. Would you be able to do a watch you work when you build your stairs? I don't know. I think my buddy's gonna be over here tomorrow. I think he's gonna come. He's wanting to see it. The guy who helped me build the whole outside and all that. He's meeting me to go look at a job, and I think he's gonna come here with me. We're gonna come here after we leave that. We'll see. He's got New Orleans. New Orleans. I hate to walk, but I love those tables. Use it a lot. They're nice. Like, of course, there's a bunch of options for it now. I bought the DeWalt ones back when that was pretty much it. You know, it was DeWalt or nothing. But the now I know Tough Built came out with some. I think they were a little bit heavier though. Klein's got some. I don't know if anybody else has them or not, but they're nice. Like I like them because they slide in and out of my truck. Just pull them out. It's real fast. Uh, I just like how fast they are to set up. Set a camera facing the area and call it good. Who was surprised live tomorrow for a stair building party? I haven't 100% decided what I'm going to even do. I think I'm just going to go straight down. Not like I said, I even originally thought about maybe doing a down and to the side so that it kind of comes down no matter which way. But I actually like the idea of being able to store stuff under them more so than having that being like it's a solid stair so I could come down kind of at an angle type thing. Because I don't know how often like I'll actually be going. I'm hoping that I'm not really putting a bunch of stuff down there that I'm not planning on every day. I'm going to be going down there to that part of the garage. That's more so going to be uh, overflow type stuff and just stuff that I use around the house and all that kind of stuff. Not necessarily, I'm going to try to keep all my work stuff in here because my truck's parked right there and it's right outside the door. Like I came home today, unloaded my Hyper Tough cart because I took it with me today. Unloaded, 4 or 5 pack out cases. Unloaded some MC cable. Just a bunch of different stuff that I know I'm not going to need on the next job that I know of. And I might be going and picking up file cabinets tomorrow, so I was trying to empty out my truck. But then, like, whatever my next job is, I'll just walk in here and grab those things and put them in my truck. I try to mostly, there's tools in my truck and then some common materials that I just want to have with me, like screws and anchors and wire nuts and all that kind of stuff like that. But as far as like, if I don't need a table saw every day, I'm not going to keep my table saw in my truck every day, or even like a lot of my specialty tools. It's like, I'm not going to do that job. I'm not going to sit there and just leave it in my truck all the time, taking up room. Klein and who else? I think Tough Built's got a set of them. I think Tough Built came out with theirs before Klein. So Tough Built has it so you can hook on like their tool pouch stuff on the side, and then Klein has it so you can hook on the mod box stuff on the side. But I want to say the Tough Built one's heavier. I haven't seen one in person, but I think I seen. Well, maybe I did. I think I saw it at Lowe's, but I want to say like Timinator the Tool Man or something had a video on him because he had a lot of Tough Built stuff. And I think he mentioned that they were heavier. When I get this shipping container set up as a tool man cave, I'll be getting my food remote controls truck to me. Yeah, Ted's gonna have to get him an Evo meter pouch to put all his 3 tools in he uses all the time. It's got a then see Ted, if you get you the Evo meter pouch, it's got a magnet built into it. You just be able to throw your tools right there on the side of a unit when you crawl in those crawl spaces. It seems like where Ted lives, everybody puts their units in the crawl space or the attic. Like very few times I've seen him where it's like not in a crawl space or an attic. He's always having to crawl in somewhere. It sounds gay. You need to evolve, Ted. You need to go Evo. Now it's pretty amazing, like what you can get by with. I mean, and Ted makes a good point of it with all his videos. Like I'm just a tool nut, and I love them. The only reason why, I mean, I can get by with pretty much the same stuff that Ted puts in his little pouch and fix a lot of things with that. Like obviously, you can't go and frame a house with what Ted's got in his little pouch there, but for like service work and stuff like that, it's like you can get a lot done with what he's got in that pouch. And I've kind of gotten myself to the point of smaller tool bags, at least. I haven't gone full blown Ted Cook and moved down to the meter pouch with 2 or 3 tools in it. But over time, I have slowly got myself down from like carrying one of these all the time. So this is just basically set up for electrical work. So I took this with me today because I knew I was doing electrical work, because I've got like my more so these are just tools so I don't have to take my other bag in, but more so it's just this side over here. I've got my meter in here in one of these, but I've also got my stuff to go find circuits and stuff in this one, the Klein 450, a thermal imaging camera, Kywheat's circuit breaker finder, all that kind of stuff. This is more so why I even take this bag with me, is this side right here. I just put tools on the other side so that I don't have to carry my other bag in with me whenever I carry this one in. Can you fix a unit with a paper clip and a rubber band? That's what he needs to change his name to MacGyver HVAC. Is the Milwaukee circular saw blade behind your left side of the clock? Oh no, that's just a saw blade. That's where I keep a bunch of my saw blades. I've just got a screw in the wall with tons and tons of saw blades of different ones. This one is a spider, and it's on Amazon. I don't know if you can buy them somewhere else. They probably have a website, but I get them on Amazon, and it is a super like cool material. Like it's not like a cotton shirt. It's like a water resistant. It's kind of like a True Work, probably that kind of material, but they're not as expensive as True Work. Everything I bought from them, I really like it. And I've only bought them off Amazon. I don't know. Like I said, I'm sure they sell them somewhere else too, but I've only bought them off Amazon. MacGyver HVAC wouldn't instill confidence for the customer. What's up, Wings and Pizza? Thomas. I wish, like, I've got a spider. It's called a spider shacket, and it's basically the same kind of material, but it's got a like a warmer thing on the inside. So it's like a shirt jacket. That's why they call it a shacket. But the thing I like about it is like its buttons like a snap button, so you can just take it on and off real fast. So like today, I mean, it was like 50 degrees, so like this shirt was fine for me. But then the place I was working in is always hot as I'll get out. Like they've got it like heat blaring in there, and I'd have liked to took off like this shirt and just wore a short sleeve one underneath of it or whatever. But it's such a pain to take these on and off and all that kind of stuff versus like that jacket. You just like snap it off. Snap. It's like putting on a jacket. I like it a lot better. Yeah, it makes you feel like Hulk Hogan when you do it too. You're like, just, but this is one of my favorite shirts. It's not as maybe warm as like if you buy like a flannel shirt, like the Wrangler ones I got or something. They're a little bit thicker, but this one also I feel like blocks the wind better. So just depends on what kind of weather you're in. If it's a cold, windy weather, then it's probably does just the equivalent. But if it's just cold, it doesn't. Shacket, never heard of that. That's what they call it. It's a shirt jacket. So it looks just like this, except for it's got a little bit of like lining on the inside, but it mostly looks like a shirt though, as far as looks wise. But it's kind of a little warmer than a shirt, but not so much a jacket. Cowboy clothing has button snaps. I noticed that the True Work, some of the shirts I looked at was button snaps at the IBS show. Some of theirs was, and then I saw it on. I didn't see it whenever I was there. I watched the Perkins Builder Brothers had a IBS video come out today, and they were at the True Work booth, and they had boot cut like pants and stuff, Matt. And I didn't know they had boot cut pants. I like that better than the other kind. Spider's a ski brand. Yeah, I think it's meant for like snow skiing and that kind of stuff. But I said I love this shirt. It's a nice. Where do I live? Kentucky. Ray said True Work pants are the best I've ever used. Yeah, one of these days I need to buy me some of them. I might buy me some of the Strauss ones too. I kind of want to buy a pair that I can put knee pads in because I think I'd like that. Like, because I'm real bad. Even I buy the climb. I've got the climb ones in my truck, and I'll put them on like for specific things. Like if I'm going in an attic or something, and I want to have something on my knees for whenever I'm hitting all the joists and stuff, like just something to be not so like, ooh, hit that hard spot on my knee that hurts like a knife every time you touch it type of thing. But I never in my mind, like, there's plenty of times throughout my day, I'm like, oh, I wish I had my knee. Even today, I mean, I was on the ground putting in that receptacle, like kept getting up and down on my knees. And it's like, well, I could go out there to my truck and get my knee pads or go get a kneeling pad or do whatever. But I mean, it ain't going to take me that long to do it. That's what you go through your brain is what's like, it's going to take me almost as long to do it as it would be for me to go get that. So then you end up not doing it. But if I just had knee pads that I put in my pants, I think that might be the way for me to go to remind myself to use them more. Number two pants are very nice. T2s. I just put my Klein knee pads on every morning. Yeah, see, it wouldn't hurt me to do that. I probably should do that, but because they don't really bother me wearing them. Like, I don't mind them. I just keep them in my truck because I know that there's going to be time. And that's the thing is, it's like if I did it every day, that'd be fine probably. But because I used to keep them in my house in my cubby and I'd put them on the days where I thought I'd use them. And then never fails. I'd think, oh, I'm not going to need those. And then I'd get into something being like, oh, I wish I had those Klein knee pads because I got a little cubby in there by my door where I leave that I keep my keys and all that kind of stuff. So then I'm like, well, I'm just going to move them in my truck. And then that way I'll always have them. And if I want to put them on, I'll put them on. But your best bet's to do what you're doing, Robert. Just put them on every day and then you know you'll have them. And I think I would do that more if it was something I just slipped in my pants and didn't have to mess with. I have a True Work ad that keeps popping up there listening. I just hate spending that much money on clothes because I mean, I get stuff on them all the time, like pants and stuff. I'm just like, oh, I don't want to be working and have to be worried about getting something on my $80 pants. I normally go to Goodwills and different consignment shops and just go to the pants aisle and find me some pants that are my size. And those are my new work pants. So that way I only spend about $5 a pair on them. Try $89 each. Yeah, I know they're expensive. That's why I've never bought any. I just can't. I feel like if I spend $89 on pants, which I don't know why I feel that way because I don't feel that way about certain other things like tools and stuff. But it's like I feel like if I spend $89 on pants, I'm gonna be like so leery of working in them that I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm not doing that because I ain't gonna get my pants dirty. The XPR 99 and come with the knee pads. I can't remember. I forgot that they gave me a book at the Strauss place. I don't know if it's got prices in it or not. I didn't never look to see. They're in the same price range though as uh True Work are. They're not any cheaper. Pants and stuff aren't. Boots and shoes. I was gonna look in here and see what they got for pants. And then I prefer getting stuff off Amazon if it's gonna be clothes like that, but just because it's easier probably to deal with scent, like because certain brands, you might wear a whatever size, and then you get another brand, and it's like, oh, these are way too tight or what they're way too big. I'm trying to find what the name of those ones were that I saw there that I liked. Yeah, probably these. Whatever this is called. I don't know. They got a million pages. I mean, that's a big, thick catalog. I have 2 pair, 3 years old, and don't show it. You mean you must not paint and stuff in your True Work pants. Paint and caulk. You don't paint and caulk in your True Work pants, I guess. Any Duluth love? I like the Flex line, buy on sale. So I've got some of my favorite pants in there. I got them on eBay or I got them at no, I got them at Goodwill. They were the Duluth. I actually like them. I got them for whatever the price of a pair of pants is at Goodwill is what I got them for. Because I kind of go in Goodwill and I just walk up down the aisle and my looking for that kind of material for pants, and then see if it's my size. And I remember I got a couple Duluth ones in there one time. Just always keep a kneeling pad in the truck. I've got one in my truck. I've got kneeling pad and knee pads. The problem is I get inside thinking I don't need them, and then you start doing the work and you're like, oh man, I'd like to have my kneeling pad, but then it's like I don't want to walk all the way back out to the truck and get it. I'm not going to be doing it that long. You don't get your paint and caulk on your clothes. See, I don't. I'm like a I don't work. I'm kind of bull in a china shop sometimes whenever I'm doing that kind of work. Now, like service work is different than construction work. So I guess I could buy me some true work pants and just. But then again, I do a mix sometimes. Some days I go work on a job site and do all kinds of stuff, and then stop on my way home and do two service calls or whatever. I'm a clean caulker, man. My buddy's all time. He just wipes it on his pants. Like he wears pants and just wipes it on there. Trying to say I don't work. I don't purposely wipe it on me like my buddy, but somehow or other I end up getting it on me sometimes. I'd prefer to never have to paint again a day in my life if I didn't have to. It's not one of my favorite things to do. I don't really like it. But there's some jobs I do where it's easier for me to just do it than it is to find somebody to do whatever it is, and more so to schedule it, like because I don't want that paint person holding me up, multiple days because they can't get there. I mean, I'll just do it so I can do the next thing, whatever it is. Woodchuck's got the ones with the knee pads built in. I miss being young and not needing knee pads. Yeah, that's probably why we need knee pads so bad now. Yeah, your knees get a little older. They get a little. You'd think they'd get tougher over the years, but it seems like they get to where they hurt. Anybody have narrow, flat feet and have found comfy work boots? No, I've got wide, flat feet, but I pretty much wear slip-on Skechers pretty much for all my. I do keep a pair of like leather Georgia boots in my truck, so that way if I'm doing something where I'm gonna crawl under a house or walk around in wet yards or whatever, but I just wear slip-on Skechers. Red high temp RTV gets everywhere. Oh, there's all kinds of things. Like if you're doing plumbing, it's pipe dope. That's the plumber's glitter. Uh, I guess the HVAC's glitter is what the Pookie or whatever it is. I don't. That's probably only really for duct installers. I don't know what a HVAC person like service tech. What would their glitter be other than just refrigerant getting on you? That it never fails. You get it all over you. That's like we were digging that service water line at my son's house. Did that Tuesday, I guess, whatever day that was, and running a new line from the meter to inside the house because he had an old galvanized line that was leaking, and I was wearing a one of my Milwaukee hoodies, the light gray color, because I wasn't planning on really getting dirty because we had a digger, but I was reaching around the digger to pull the PEX line underneath of it and touch grease stuff all over my Milwaukee hoodie and got it all over it. Anti seize is the worst. Red guard gets everywhere. Yeah, it's nasty. I joined late. Was wondering if Lowe's invited you to the creators event they had. Yeah, and unfortunately, like I had just so like about 3 days before I got an email from them, I had just um purchased my plane ticket and my the hotel room and everything else for to go to IBS, and it was the same exact time as IBS, like same dates, same exact dates and everything, like times, dates, the whole 9 yards. So you couldn't do both. You had to go to one or the other. And I had already booked all that other stuff. So Nylog. The HVAC could be Nylog, yeah. KJ Trade said real HVAC guys don't use Nylog. What do real HVAC guys use? Nothing. Spit. Every time it gives me a little ad and I clear it out, it takes me all the way back up to the top of the chat. Yeah, so I'm gonna work on getting this window out next. I got to do it from the outside, so I got to do it from the other side of the wall because the flanges are tucked behind the metal. That's the way this one was whenever I took it out. Because I had a window behind this. That's why that's bumped out a little bit. So I had to take it out and fill that in. I didn't have to. I mean, I don't have to take that out. I could cover that up just like it is, but I'd just soon take it out because I know it's going to be in my way later if I leave it in there. Like there'll be some reason why I'll need to not have it in there. And then once I put all the sheathing and all that other stuff on that wall, it's going to be very hard to get it out. They have to know how to make a proper flare. Or they just buy some HVAC shark bike fittings and push them on there. I don't guess they got shark bites for HVAC. I guess they got the Pro Press and all that stuff. True work for the win, Abraham says. Seen on the Lowe's video, client had 4-wheel dollies that go under mod box. When do you think you'll be done with all the garage work, mate? No telling, because I'm just working on it in between when I got time, because it's not affecting me other than knowing I've always got something to do out here, but that's probably always the case anyways. But it's not affecting my day-to-day work now that I've got the stuff out of here that was in my way. Now, once and the weather's getting better, so then it's not going to be as big a deal. That's the whole reason why I didn't open up the other side yet, because as soon as I opened up this side, it was just like cold in here all the time. And now that I've got it sealed off, it's good. But now that it's getting warmer, that's why I didn't want to pop open that window and get that out yet either. But that I can get that closed up in a day and that not be a problem. But that's why I haven't started this one over here yet. Because this side over here that I'm doing this in is going to actually help me more than this side will. But I wanted to have this side done so I could go back and forth to the other garage without having to walk around the building. But I'll get a lot more storage over there. And that's the one I'm primarily planning on using for work stuff, is that side and this. And then this would be more just some little extra space for stuff that I don't use very often in that back corner. Like right now up on that top shelf, I've got like a bunch of just random car tools that I bought over the years, like a, brake caliper set, like disc set, and hammer pull, just random stuff. If I was doing some work on one of our vehicles and I needed a tool, I'd buy it. And then, but when am I going to need that again? I don't know. Maybe never, maybe 10 years from now. So I'm just going to put stuff in there primarily that's just random stuff that I don't need very much. And then but I don't know. I may end up putting more stuff over in here than what I think. Cause like I said, I'm going to have a ton of shelf space over there. I basically have the same amount that I got here and there again. So I'm basically almost doubling. the storage that I've got in here. What's up, Brian Hall? I like my Navac flare tool. Poo on press fittings. I've never used now I've used like just PEX. Most of the PEX around my area is like crimper, so like that kind of a crimper, but I've never done a like press fittings for anything, plumbing, HVAC, any of that kind of stuff. I don't think I can't I can't justify the purchase of that much for a tool for the little amount that I'd end up using it. Stuff like that's whenever somebody needs some kind of work that's even specialized to a certain degree, I just give them a buddy's number that does that work specifically and be like, it's going to be more efficient and better for you to call this guy. I'm saving for that Crescent tool cart so I can start modding. Yeah, I wanted to take it with me today, but I knew I wasn't going to need a lot of stuff going to do the work because again, I thought I was just mostly going to hang two shelves. But I was gonna take it, but I've got all my stuff on it that I've like fasteners and stuff that I've been using around here. I've just been stacking the boxes on it, and I was like, I don't feel like unloading that thing. And the Hyper Tough is what I took with me today. But yeah, I like it. It's definitely like a nicer feeling cart. But like I said, both of them are good. The Hyper Tough for the money's crazy good. Like I even if I had the Crescent, I'd still buy that Hyper Tough just to have a smaller cart for $50. Since when could he not justify the price of a tool? You'd be surprised, Miss Maintenance, how many tools I don't buy that I'd like to have, but it just doesn't make sense. Now, there's some of them I might splurge on, but it's because I will at least use them pretty often. But there's certain ones I wouldn't use, but like once a year. And there's certain ones I wouldn't even use that. So I can't spend. And it's different if something's $100 or $200 and you use it a couple times a year. But some of those tools are like $3,000, and I'm not spending $3,000 on a tool that I only use a couple times a year. I mentioned the other day hoping to see a full drop ceiling in the future. Yeah, I think I said it while I was filming, but I don't know if it was during the time where I swapped over to time lapse. It might have been in there. I didn't go back and rewatch the whole entire thing like close to see after I edited it. And sometimes I can't remember things I said or things I edited out because sometimes I speed things up just so it isn't such a long video. But if I had my pick of things I like doing, and I said it while I was doing it, but it might not have been in the video. Like I would do drop ceilings like that. Like if I just do that all the time because it's such a very fast of that thing that I'm looking for. Like the whole reason why I like doing this kind of work is like you take something that looks bad and then like you make it look good and you feel good about it and all that kind of stuff, or something that's not working, you make it work. It makes you like feel like you accomplished something. And as fast as you can put a drop ceiling in, and as like the drastic change that makes to a space, like whenever it doesn't have a ceiling in it yet, like in an office and stuff like that, is like crazy. And it's kind of a neat thing to do, like too. It's like you get in the rhythm of doing it. Uh, I would do those all the time if I could find enough of them to do. We haven't done a lot. Me and my buddy haven't done very many of them. Like we used to do quite a bit of them, but we haven't done very many in the last several years. I'm shocked you factor in return on investment only on like uber expensive tools. I'm not, like I said, if it's a couple $100, if I feel like if I'm going to even just use it once and then I have it for in case I want it later, then that's whatever. Not that a couple $100 is something easy to balk at or anything. I'm just saying it doesn't take you very many jobs to make $200 on something, but it's, you know, those pro press tools are multiple $1,000s. So you need to be using them and then the fittings for them and all that stuff. It's like, you got to be doing some work to make your money back on that. It is a big time saver, I'm sure. And like you do speed up the process of certain aspects of it. my usual situations, having to demo out cabinets in the kitchen, and while I'm there, I might as well press on some plumbing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of just about any time I do plumbing work. If I shut off the water because like the whole house water, and if I'm working on a sink or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I might as well change these shut off valves while I'm under here because I've already got the water off. And because usually if I turn off the whole house, it's because the shut offs aren't working great anyways. So I end up changing out a lot of shut off valves. But a lot of the stuff around my area now, if it's anything newer, it's all PEX, which is very easy to, change most stuff out. It's not the same as copper and all that stuff, which most of the time, if we've got copper, most people have always used those compression shut-off valves at the stub outs. So those are easy to change typically too without having to do any soldering and all that kind of stuff. Soldering's not so much hard. It's just a lot of times it's hard to get your pipe dry enough so you can heat it up enough, or it's in some real awkward space that you can't hardly get back in there too. That's when that becomes a problem. Like if you're just out in the open and it's new install or whatever, that's easy. But there's very few people that use copper in my area anymore. It's just too expensive. They might use it. They might stub out with copper on PEX. Like your stub outs might be copper, but usually the plumbing in the actual walls and all that stuff's usually PEX. But there's still a lot of houses around me that's got galvanized, like water lines and all that stuff under the house and all that stuff. But it's 8:03ish, so I guess it's time to get off here. I got a little bit of figuring up some stuff to do, so I know what I ought to get tomorrow. I got my truck loaded up for what I need to do tomorrow already. I got to try to get a guest of trade filmed in tomorrow too. I hadn't had time this week, so hopefully I can do that tomorrow. If not, it might be a crazy early Saturday morning one or something. So hopefully I'll have time tomorrow night. What's up, Don Mendenhall? See y'all on the guest of trades. Hopefully, unless something bad happens. I think the next one up on the list only has like 7 or 8 pictures, so hopefully it won't take me too long to like film and edit and all that kind of stuff. So I was hoping I was going to get home early enough today to do it today before I did this. But like I said, the 2 shelves turned into hang 2 shelves on the wall, put together 3 shelves, put together 3 rolling carts, fix some cabinet drawers, and then run a receptacle. So I was there for a lot longer. I'm gonna go back and watch, but I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Clint said Erica's birthday's on Monday. Happy birthday, Erica. But we'll see y'all on the next one or at the guest of trade. Appreciate y'all being on here. And Ted Cook, go get you that Evo pouch.